Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rear swinging arm to grease the rear bearings. It's not on the service schedule, but I think it's well worth doing because I've heard stories that there's not enough grease in them from the factory. So the first thing we need to do is remove the exhaust. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we've got to remove these heat shields, which is just a 5mm Allen key. So we'll just get these off. And that'll be 3 fixings that hold this one on. Go. Now we need to undo this exhaust clamp. This is the one that I think they term as the secondary exhaust fixing. So it's one of the things you have to check the tightness of. Now we've just got 2 fixings to undo for the silencer. This one's got a nut and bolt on it. Okay, so having removed the exhaust, I'm now around the other side of the bike. To take the swinging arm off, we're going to have to remove the heel guard, the gear linkage, sprocket cover, mud guard and rear hugger, and the rear wheel of course, but we'll get to that in all good time. So I'm going to start by removing this heel guard. It's always a good idea because these are quite sharp. I take these off all the time when I clean the bike. It's always a good idea to support it, don't let it drop because again it's sharp metal and it will scratch this lovely finish on the frame or the rear sets even. And just get that out of the way. Now to get the gear linkage off, there's like little clips, so you just push the clip and pull it out. Little clip like that. Will that in focus?
Yep.
And one the other side, at the other end, just like that. And then all you do is you pull, push, take that out there. Right, we need to take off this gear selector piece. There's just 2 dots that line up with the slot, so you always know where it goes. It's got an 8mm bolt that holds it in. So we'll just slacken that off. You do need to take it right out. Now we can remove the sprocket cover. There's 3 8mm bolts that hold it on. One there, one down there, and one there. And you need to note that there's also some wires and breathers and God knows what that runs through the front of it. This is quite awkward to get off. Now, I haven't had this off for a long time, so I'm guessing it's going to be quite gunky in there. Okay, let's see if we can get this off. You kind of have to sort of push it forward. It does touch the frame, you have to be so careful with it. There we go. Ooh, gunky. So now we need to remove the rear hugger, which is a fix in there. Take that one out. There's 2 around the other side, which I'll show you. I've already removed the heel guard from this side just for speed. There's 2 fixings this side, which I've kind of loosened up already. And you can see why I've taken the heel guard off, just so I can get to that. And the rear hugger should lift off. Right, there's just 2 bolts that hold the chain guard on. One of them is hidden by the hugger. So we'll just get that one undone. The other one's quite obvious because it's on the outside of the swinging arm, you can't miss it. And now we're ready to lift that off. And there we go. Going to remove the rear wheel now. It's 27mm socket you'll need. I've put some cloth on the swinging arm just to protect it from the chain, just in case. And also I'll just show you the caliper carrier sits in a slot in the swinging arm. So when we undo that, we're going to push that forward to disconnect the chain. So now we need to take the spindle out. We need to support the wheel. Now we can roll it forward, like so. And we just need to take the chain off. Like that. And that should. Oh, that was need a bit of rag there just to protect the brake caliper for a minute. So the next thing we're going to do is just going to undo these two brake hose clamps here, just to get it off the swinging arm. And we need to tie this brake caliper up out of the way, or somewhere out of the way safe. Should now come off of there. Okay, so what I've done is I've cable tied the brake caliper just to the foot peg, just to take the weight off the brake hose. Okay, before we go any further and remove any more nuts and bolts off the swinging arm, we need to support the bike. I've used a trolley jack and a big block of wood across the sump and the cat, and that's got it quite secure. So now we're going to remove the 3 nuts and bolts on the drop link, which will then disconnect the swinging arm from the damper. Okay, so now I've got the nuts off. You will need to just support the swinging arm to take the bolts out. I'll just get those out. Yeah, that plate's just fallen on the floor. And I'm just going to use a bit of wood just to support the swinging arm for a minute. Now we're ready to take the damper out. So the last thing we need to do to remove the damper, it's an 8mm Allen key with a 14mm nut. We need to remove that. You might need to remove the brake fluid reservoir, which I've already loosened off, as you can tell, just so you can get access in to that bolt. I've already loosened this off, so I'm going to take the nut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to support the damper underneath the swinging arm and get this bolt out like so, and then the damper has to come out the top. Just tilt it, tilt it, tilt it, and that's your damper out. Right, finally now, to get the swinging arm out, we just need to take these rubber snubbers off each side. And then you've got a 24mm nut, and I think it's 17 the other side. So we'll just crack these off. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the nut for the swinging arm now I've loosened it off. And then there's a washer, which is a magnet to get that off. And I just need to show you, if I just push that swinging arm bolt through, in there is a sleeved frame spacer, just there. And what you're going to need is you're going to need a tool like that. I got this one off eBay, and what that does is that fits in those slots, and we need to wind this anti-clockwise to take it away from the swinging arm. So I'll just do that now. It won't come out all the way because it's got a shoulder on it. I'll show you that in a minute. So we'll just wind that away, like so. There you go, that's stopped. And then we just need to move the chain off the swinging arm, tuck that there. Okay, so now I'm just about to remove the swinging arm, so just with your left hand, support it, pull the bolt out, like that, and then just gently tease it out.